me just fix it. Currently is 12:01, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. Welcome everybody to today's meeting. Today's a special meeting of the City Commission of Rio Grande City, today being Wednesday, August 28th of 2024, and the time being 12:01. At this time, I would like to invite Commissioner Olivares to join us and lead us in the invocation.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather here today, and we ask you to bless every mind and heart that feels the presence of this room. We ask for a special blessing for those in our community who are going through trials, tribulations, hardships, illnesses. We ask also for a special guidance and wisdom upon this commission so that we can make decisions that positively affect our growing city. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen. And at this time, I would like to invite everybody to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now to our Texas flag.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Ms. Elise, can you please do roll call and find whether or not there's a quorum?
I will. Mayor Falcon,
Present?
Commissioner Barrera,
Present.
Commissioner De Leon is absent, Commissioner Olivares,
Here.
Commissioner Barrera.
Here.
We do have quorum, sir.
Thank you. We may therefore proceed with today's meeting. Do we have any sign up for the public forum?
No one signed up for public forum.
Okay, thank you. Before we proceed with the actual items on the agenda, I want to welcome everybody that's here today. Thank you so much for being interested. Thank you so much for participating in today's meeting and being involved within your community and within your city. We move to item 2, the consent agenda, and we move forward to item 2A, approval of minutes from previous meetings. A, City Commission regular meeting held on Tuesday, August the 13th of 2024. Do we have a motion on this matter?
After reviewing the minutes, Mayor, I make a motion that we approve.
Does anybody second the motion?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Discussion by anybody? Having no discussion on this matter, the matter is up for vote. All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. We move to the consent agenda, item 2B, approval of action taken at the meeting of the rgc-tv board meeting held on Tuesday, August the 13th of 2024.
Mayor, I'm sorry, good afternoon. If I may, this item needs to be tabled due to action needs to be taken at the regular EDC meeting.
I move that we table item 2B upon the recommendation of our interim city manager.
Does anybody second the motion? Second. Motion has been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The matter has been tabled until further notice. We move to item 2B, departmental travel. Do we have any items on this matter, ma'am?
We do, sir. On page 19, we have a seminar for myself, and this is for the TMCA Midwest Seminar at the island, and this would be taking place in October, late October.
Yes, ma'am. Is there any other matter?
There are. The police department will be sending one of their own for the crimes victims, the 35th Annual Texas Crime Stoppers Conference in Waco, also in October.
Okay. Anything else regarding this matter?
No, sir.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve this request?
I move that we approve the departmental travel requests.
Does anybody second?
Second.
Discussion of this matter? All those in favor say aye.
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 Commissioner?
Aye.
Motion carries. We move to item 3, the public hearing. A, public hearing regarding the proposed City of Rio Grande City ad valorem tax rate of 0.521090 per $100 valuation. Do we have a motion to entertain this matter?
I do have a motion to approve item 3A as presented in the agenda.
You have to entertain a hearing now.
Yes, so this is for public hearing. We could do both A and B since they both involve taxing.
Okay. Is the motion withdrawn?
So you can make a motion to amend and move to approve a public hearing for both A and B, and you can read out B, Mayor.
Moving to item 3B as well, public hearing to solicit input from the public regarding the City of Rio Grande City proposed budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. Does anybody wish to amend their original motion and consider both items at this time?
I move motion to amend the previous motion and include item 3B as presented on the agenda.
Does anybody second the matter?
I'll second.
The matter has been seconded. The matter is now up for discussion. Do we have any discussion regarding
So
this?
we will open up the public hearing now. It's 12:07 p.m. for 5 minutes. And the public is welcome to comment.
Yes. On that, before you even decide, my name is David Ochoa, I'm a citizen.
What was your last name, sir?
Ochoa.
Mr. Ochoa, welcome. Thank you for being here.
There's a couple of issues I take into that. I don't know if you are aware, the Appraisal District has been raising people's taxes for the last 5 years. And those last 5 years, they've also been increasing their pay by roughly about $12,154. While the rest of the city and citizens of the United States have been dealing with a pandemic and then an inflation, I don't see how these people increase their pay by $12,154 if this year's budget is approved. What I've seen is that basically, I'm surprised by now by how many people are here, and which is good, but not that many people show up to Appraisal District. And one member here, I've seen it, has seen me try to fight it, and there's no fighting these people. They'll do whatever they do because the people basically see that nobody really is keeping an eye on it. But in 2020, when they first, I saw this, they increased their pay by $2,496. Then roughly 3,011 the next year, around the same. And I watched it, and even have the numbers here. Now it's like closely, if the budget is approved, it's going to be $930,000 for roughly 21 employees. When it started back this in 20, it was like $814,000. The difference is like roughly 125. Well, I'm not going to roughly anything. Just give it to you straight. I take issue because supposedly I'm sorry, what is this? Okay, right here. I'm sorry, I'm disorganized here. Supposedly the average homestead raised in 2021 from 68,000 to 80,000, an increase is 17.83. And then roughly from 23 to 24, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. One increase, and I think from 20 to 24, it showed an increase of 34.83% in the value. Um, Since I graduated in 1994, there has been an increase, mainly a little bit less than 5,000 in 30 years. That I do not see how it's considered progress. City of El Paso or Portland increased their population by twice as fold. That is what I consider progress. But, hmm, but City of Rio Grande, with everything else that I see, trash on the floors, on our pavements, the police, I'm sorry, not really doing anything. People are using turning things to pass, that it doesn't really, like question really what's going on, and to see really if these things should be allowed, because that's more money that's going to people who really, I believe, are not doing their jobs. But like I said, I'm nervous, a little bit nervous. You gotta excuse me. I'm way nervous. But like this is the one. In 2020, 674,977 were for the personnel salaries, and in 2025, $231. That's a difference, $255,254. That's an increase of, like I said, $12,154 in 5 years. And like I said, while other people are going poor, it doesn't seem to me that that these people are doing this, because one year 2,500, and then the next year they're getting that 2,100 that they got from last year's, and then another 3,000, and that's a little bit unfair. And like I said, other departments, I don't see how you could tell me that they're doing their jobs when physically, see, I worked in the delivery and everything like that, and here's one.
I'm sorry, what department are you referring to specifically?
Everything, including the appraisal district. This was one.
When you're making a reference to this increases in salary, are you making a reference to the salaries of the appraisal district, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yes.
I think you're talking about the increases in value of the properties that.
Well,
belong to the
it's like,
city, right?
okay, how can, okay, that's where, thank you for reminding me.
And I think
Increase in value,
I think there were two issues that you raised, right? One was the appraisal values, and two, you started discussing also salaries of.
the salaries.
Of the,
Appraisal, okay, how
appraisal
can,
district.
yes.
Okay.
Appraisal values, this last year was, that 32,000 were gonna be sent out. When I tried to fight those people on the increase of my property taxes, they told me that the only, notices were going out were if improvements were made. You're telling me 32,000 improvements were made to, properties in Starr County? And where in my house is basically surrounded by two empty lots, overgrown with vegetations and the trash that them themselves supposedly cleaned up, and they just put it there. There's a pile of trash.
Is your property within the city limits?
Yes.
Or within the county?
City limits.
Okay.
And that's another one. I'll go into a little bit. I'm getting rid of time real quick, so I'm sure. Okay, two, and then the next ones are I'm surrounded by two family members. They're as poor as I am, and in that year that I was fighting for, they increased my property's value by like 1,500, and yet the property that they compared my property to, which is on Water Street, they decreased its value, even though it has been bought, remodeled, and added its property. This property was lowered in value by 6,000, while my property was breaking down. I have a house whose light is coming through one of the things. My father didn't do anything about it. I came back here in 2015 to take care of my mother, and my property gets increased in value, and that property that I just showed you, negative 6,040 adjustment, land value adjustments. I don't see how to me, I don't think these people are even going anywhere. I would like to see somebody check their odometer to see if they're really doing their job, or is it one of those things where they're saying, pick up their value, more to the budget, more to our salaries. I think that's what's really going on, because for 12,500, 100, without people knowing it, because I tell people and they're surprised, So that is one of the things. I think the other thing.
Mr. Ochoa, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I think that your time is up, but to wrap it up, I wanted to ask you this. Given that you're raising some issues with the county, you understand that you're addressing the city commission and that we don't necessarily have control over what the county appraisal district does. But
Isn't it that you guys approve the budget? No, they respond to you guys, the commissioners, because that's what they told me.
there's two entities here. You're talking about the appraisal district. The appraisal district is part of the county, and then you have the city, which is independent from the county. The budget that you were making reference for the county, we have no control over that. But if you would like for us to perhaps send a letter so that they can address your concerns, we can maybe do that.
Or if you want to give the same presentation, we have a meeting on September 11th at noontime. You're welcome to sign up for
Where
public
is it?
forum at the appraisal district. We have a regular meeting. It's not you've been to ARB meetings, you've been to the appraisal review board meetings, but we have a regular meeting of the appraisal district on September 11th. I invite you to go and present this same
No, I'm
presentation.
gonna admit, I'm a little new to this stuff. It's just that this really got to me, because like I said, I lived here for almost all my life. Well, I had to be forced to come back here, but I don't really see anybody doing their jobs. Especially, I'm sorry that this man got interim city commissioner when it wonders to me how this property code enforcement could be considered pile of trash, tires, trash, and this property that lives right very close to me. How is this saying that code enforcement has done their job? And then you put that man into be our city manager?
Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
But like I said, if it doesn't really matter, then at least I'm bringing some work. I'll get into it, because like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just barely getting into it. I might not even do as much, because really, to tell you the truth, what I see is the city is in, for what you guys are telling me, that, another thing is that you want to make the city employees well paid. How about it getting to do their jobs first?
Yes.
How about the transparency? And like I say, because the police here is a joke. It is a joke. Pitching out over there by Grant Street, in Sarsky, there's parking themselves, and it takes, even my mother noticed, which she's going a little bit out of her mind, that 2 hours after we get out of the doctor's appointment, that person is still there, probably asleep.
Why don't we do this, sir? Given that your time is up, okay, I need to give the opportunity to other members to speak as well.
Yes.
But why don't we do this? If you want to stay behind, I can spend some time with you, and then we can discuss some of the issues.
I
that-
got another appointment.
I'm
But
sorry?
I would love to, yeah, I got to pick up my mother from a dentist,
Okay.
because I left her right now while she was doing the
Set up an
procedure.
appointment for next week, and then we'll sit down, we'll.
And
try to
with
see
who
how
do I
we
do
can
that?
Address your concerns, okay?
Where can I set an appointment with?
With
I can help you with that.
Ms.
Okay.
Solis, okay?
Can I get your number? I can call you back, because like I said, I got to
You
go
can
pick her
call-
up, and then I got another
You
appointment
can
too.
call the general line for the city, okay? And then we'll.
Sorry
address-
about you.
No, sir. Thank you, Mr. Ochoa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take your time.
Yes, sir. Bye. Do we have anybody else wishes to address the commission?
Hi, Maria Beth Hernandez. I'm here to request and ask the commission to consider adopting a no new revenue tax rate, the one for .49. I believe you guys proposed the .52. The reason I'm asking you to consider the lower one is because we have had an increase in property value. I understand, as you well mentioned to the man, that you do not control property values, and that's true, but they have been going up every year. And according to the county, on their meeting that they had on 7/7, they were addressing maybe tackling on more debt, that the county had leeway to tackle on more debt. And the reason they said that was because they're anticipating that again next year, there will be a huge increase in our property values. Every time our tax rolls grow, and I mean organically, because there was new construction, because new businesses come in, that's an organic growth in the tax roll. So you generate more money. The commission has an option of either keeping the money that is being generated because of the valuation on the properties or that organic growth, or you can decide to stay with the no new revenue rate, which is I don't need any more money from our city. You ran on a promise that stated that you were not going to increase taxes. That you lowered the tax rate.
Let me ask you this, ma'am.
Yes.
What is our current tax rate? Do you know?
I think it's the 5.2. It's the same one that they adopted last year,
Okay.
and they adopted it, and they kept the.
5.2.
6.5.
Yes.
Okay, and the current rate that we're proposing to adopt today, wouldn't that be lower than?
Yes, it is, but you're going to generate more taxes. Because you decrease the tax rate does not mean that you're
but hold
lowering
on,
taxes. You're
because I'm asking
collecting
you a
more
question.
money. Go
I'm asking
ahead.
you a question, okay? And I want to, for the record, to be very clear.
Mm-hmm.
We have a tax rate,
Yes, you
correct?
do.
And the tax rate is, what is it, Mr. Olivares?
526.
I think it's 0.52.
Yes.
Okay. And then the number that we're going to be proposing is going to be lower than that. Is that true?
0.521090.
Okay, so technically.
Mayor Falcon, you're trying to make
Wait-
an
wait a second.
argument
No.
that you're lowering the taxes because you lowered
No,
the rate.
I am.
You're generating more money.
I
My
am
question to you
trying
is, you're
to
going to
illustrate
generate
some of the things,
300
ma'am.
and some $1,000 more in revenue from your taxpayers. Is there a
Let's do
reason
this, ma'am.
that you need it?
Let's do this, okay? Why don't we go one at a time?
Go
And
ahead.
we're professional. we
And
don't
this is a
talk-
public forum and I was
I'm
speaking.
speaking, and we don't talk over each other,
Okay.
okay? I get to control
I
this
asked for my
forum,
5 minutes. You have
I'll
time to
give you
respond
more minutes.
afterwards.
I can give you
This
more
is not a
time.
courtroom, Gil.
but this has to be professional, so that we can have a clear record, so that everybody can understand. You
Go
speak,
ahead.
you finish speaking, then I speak, and that's the way that we're gonna handle this.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Well, you said you had something to say, sir.
We were talking about the tax rate, that it was going to be a lower rate from what it was last year. You're proposing an even lower. That is true, but let's not say that we're raising taxes. What it is true, it is that property values have gone up. And we have a tax rate currently, and the tax rate that we're proposing is going to be lower.
Will you
It's
generate
gonna
more
be-
money from the taxpayers?
Listen, lady, it's going to be lower.
Will you
And you're
generate more
proposing-
money?
We're going to be generating the
Do
same
not
amount
confuse
of
the
money.
taxpayers, sir.
We're not confusing the taxpayers.
If you
Ms.
need the
Hernandez,
300 and some,
Good afternoon, Ms. Hernandez. I have a question, so, real quick. So what you're saying is you don't want the city to generate more money and avoid our progress for the future? Basically, is that what you're saying, right?
that's what you said for the school.
That's what you're saying?
That was the
I'm
same
just
argument
asking you a
used for the
question.
school.
Is that what you're saying?
Well,
don't
if
want
you
the
can,
city
okay,
to-
so by
to
asking me that
accommodate
question,
to
you
the
would
current
tell me,
growth that we have in infrastructure.
Okay.
We have businesses growing, we need more water lines, we need to connect the sewer.
then
And you
tell
don't
us
want-
that's what you need
don't
the
want
additional
city
monies
just to
for.
make- you don't
Tell us
want the
that's
city
what
to
you need
get
the additional
more-
monies for.
I'm just asking you a question. You don't want the city to make more money based on the voters' approval?
I don't
that
want to
has
give
been
you more
approved
money so
for
you
the
could
past
give
3
it
years?
to
And I'm just
Gilberto
a new
Milán
commissioner, Mr.
and
Roger
increase the
Olivares
municipal
is here,
judges'
and he can-
salaries. No.
He can tell you that
This
just
this
the
is getting
board-
out of hand. One at a time, please. One at a time is going to speak because we have a record and we need for everybody to
Can I
understand.
finish my 5 minutes? If they want to do their
It's okay.
argument on justifying an
it's okay on
increase,
that. Wait, I just
I
wanted to
want to
make-
take my 5 minutes.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure that you just don't want the city to generate more money based on the new values that the appraisal district is giving, right?
I want you to tell me what you're going to use the $380,000 you're going to generate in new tax
Okay, for
revenue.
that question, I can help you with that one. Mr. Leonel, can you come up and just explain, Ms. Hernandez, the reasons, how many times have previous commissions have adopted the voters' approval, and what that money is gonna be for, please? Can you go to the?
It's not going to take into my 5 minutes, their response?
Yes, no, yes,
Okay.
we're gonna give you more minutes,
I'm
no
going
worries.
to give you more time so that you can
Okay.
finish explaining everything that you want to finish.
We just wanna answer the question.
For the last 3 or 4 years, I can't recall, but the city has always adopted the voter approval tax rate. The city has never gone out for a vote on the tax rate.
basically what the tax, the voter approval tax rate, it does generate more revenue, but what that revenue does is it just takes into our operations. Basically this year, to answer Mr. Hernandez's question, as where that money is going to, our health insurance increased by 113,000.
How much?
113,000.
130,000 for the health insurance,
Health
okay?
insurance, the commission wanted to raise minimum wage for our employees. There were some employees that were making $9.50, $10 an hour. They
Okay.
increased that to $12.50.
Great.
That
How
was,
many employees benefit from that initiative?
43 employees.
43 employees that were getting $8, $9 will now be on $12.50, right?
$12.50, that's
How
right.
much money will that be?
That's 128,000.
128,000, okay?
We added a new custodian position for the new fire safety building.
Okay.
We currently have 2 custodian positions. It's going to be impossible for them to take care of.
So how much is that?
That's an additional 36,000.
Okay,
And then we added a mechanic position in hopes that we can save some money in our maintenance and repairs. Our maintenance and repairs for the last couple of years have been going up the roof. So hopefully that can save us some money, but that's an additional 47,000 that's going to be added to our budget.
okay,
This year, the police department has 3 police officers that are in grants.
okay.
That grant ended this year, so we're gonna have to take their payroll into account. So the city's gonna have to cover their full payrolls now. That's 192,000. And then the city is starting a capital lobby.
How much is that one, sorry, for the police?
192,000.
So that's already over.
100 what?
192.
192.
That's
So,
for
so
three
far,
positions.
on those expenses, we're talking about $560,000 just on the health insurance, moving up the minimum wage to $12.50 for the cleaning personnel, for the mechanic and the police. So far, we have $560,000. So does that answer your question, Ms. Hernandez? On
That answers the question that you're saying that you need the monies to cover those, the additional monies that you are going to collect.
Yes, but again, just to confirm what the mayor
You're
was
trying to
telling you,
justify it.
The tax rate will not go up, right? Just to be clear.
Again,
Thank you.
your platform was based on that you were going to balance a budget, not increase taxes, and that you were going to make it work with what you had. Last year, they increased the tax. They also adopted a voter approval rate, which generated more money. And the reason we fought so hard against it and we backed off was because the prior commission stated that they needed it for the police force. And we agreed, because our first responders and our police force need to be properly compensated. They needed raises. But now you're telling us that once again, you're going to opt to keep the additional revenues because of inflation. That will always be the case. Properties are not going to go down. Property values are not going to go down. But when you come in here and you tell us that you cannot work with the same amount of monies that you had last year, yet you're giving increases and salary increases to people that you've hired, salary increases to other people, then we do have a problem because, again, you came in on the premise that you were going to be able to work with the monies that were already being collected. Now, next year, we're going to have another increase. And they've already stated it because it's going to happen in property values.
Thank you.
But at the end, the properties values, when the rates go up, property values, when the property values go up, rates go down.
Can I
That's
ask a
how you
question?
regulate.
I understand
And that's
it,
how
and I
you
think you're a
regulate
very
the
smart
amount of
person.
monies that a city collects or a municipality collects.
Ms.
Because you
Hernandez.
don't want to burden the taxpayers. So are we to expect that every time our property values go up, there's not going to be any control? Because you guys are just going to continue
Can I say something?
collecting? No, I'm not done. I had 5 minutes. You guys had your justifications to do this. All I'm asking is that you consider for the people of this township a no new revenue tax rate, and you keep your promise to make it work with the budget that you already have. That's all I'm asking. You guys are trying to make an argument and a justification for why you're keeping the extra money. It doesn't matter. You never stated that. You tried to peddle a narrative that stated that you weren't collecting any more monies. Yes, you are. If you can give us a justification, the people of this town will back up a justified reason. Our cops were a justified reason. But we're not going to justify a reason because you want to give additional jobs and pretend you're not.
Thank you for your time, ma'am.
Thank you.
So just to clarify on that, we did not create any more jobs. They were already there. And you already saw the description of where the monies are going. Number two, we, just so you know, the state requires, is asking for us to bill more, and just to clarify that, the city right now is only charging 76% of the value, right, Mr. Leonel?
Well, that's on the appraisal district, but yes, that's correct. The market values, I'm sure you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but the market values from the state are turn point, and the state wants all the appraisal district to get around 95% of those values. Right now, we're at 76%.
So 76%
correct.
of each value, that's what we own charge.
But you have a limit to that, sir.
Yes,
And the only way that you guys as a commission can limit the amount of monies that you collect is by lowering or adopting a lower tax rate or a higher tax rate. That's on us.
yes.
You have no control over the appraisal district, and you never will. But it's on you to either adopt a lower, tax rate to help the community.
What is,
I think if the valuations are higher, that'll.
do you know,
But
do
you
you,
have to go there.
do you know what our school district is doing in terms of, tax rate?
I don't believe I do, no, I think it's under 5, no, I think it's still, I don't know what the
I think it's 1.17. So if we apply the same formula here,
You can't
that,
apply it because
And-
they
and
have
what I'm saying,
exceptions
you-
that we're not able to take.
Do you know if they're gonna lower the tax rate?
I don't know, sir. I don't know. I will be against anything higher.
Okay,
I will
so,
hope the
so-
people that campaign against it too.
what is gonna be, what do you think should be done with the school district?
I'm not here to discuss the school district, sir. This is the city. The school district has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
This is what you have an immediate control over. And all I'm asking is, we're already burdened with some more increases in property values to consider the no new revenue rate. Make it work with the budget and the money we had last year.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, and I encourage that you sign up for the next meeting that
I will.
the appraisal district is going to be having.
I will.
I think that you can also make a difference there, that you can voice your concern regarding
I have,
the
sir.
property
I have.
values, and I think that's going to be a very proper forum for you to appear as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
What is the time being?
End of public hearing, 12:33 PM.
This time we conclude the public hearing. What time now?
12:33?
12:33. Okay. Moving forward to item,
We're going to take a record vote on, well, that's on 4A, on the voting, because that was just the public hearing. They already voted. Go ahead. 4A.
okay. We're going to be moving forward to item 4, ordinances A, first reading and approval of ordinance number 2024-05, an ordinance of Rio Grande City, Texas, levying ad valorem taxes for maintenance and operations of the city of Rio Grande City, Texas for the 2024-2025 fiscal year in conformity with the charter provisions and ordinances of the city and the property tax code of the state of Texas, providing for apportioning each levy in specific purposes, providing when taxes shall become due and when same shall become delinquent if not paid, providing for a repealer, providing for a publication, and ordaining other provisions related to the subject matter hereof. Do we have a motion to entertain this matter at this time?
And for the record, Mayor, the wording is on section 1. So whoever's going to approve it has to read it on
Yes,
what's on
I'm getting there.
Mayor Commissioners, the M&O rate for this year's tax rate is .372960. We put that together with 4B, which is the INS, that's a .148130. That gives us our total tax rate of .521090. That's a lower tax rate than we had the previous year of .527868. So we are lowering the tax rate this year. I also want to add that as of last year, the city had the 7th lowest tax rate from 25 valley cities from here to South Padre Island. The only cities having a lower tax rate than us would be South Padre Island, McAllen, Mission, Hidalgo, Laguna Vista, and Alton. Other than that, we have one of the lowest tax rates in the valley.
When you say
That's-
one of the lowest, sir, if you put it on a table from, I think there were like 20-some cities, right?
25 that I
25
chose
cities.
25 cities that are,
Rio Grande City, in where does it stand on those 25 cities?
it is the seventh lowest.
It is the seventh lowest?
Seventh lowest, yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's as of last year. This year, we might be lower, we might be higher, I'm not sure, but they haven't posted the 24 tax rates yet. Probably won't post those till October, and I'll keep you updated. Once they post those, I'll create another spreadsheet, and I'll let you know where we stand as of then.
I just saw a story in the news where the city of Mercedes increased it by a penny, and they're paying like 79 cents.
Yes, that's correct. And most of the cities, all 25 cities, none of them adopted the no new revenue tax rate. There's no city in the valley that adopts a no new revenue tax rate. It is hard to maintain a city trying to adopt a tax rate that's not going to bring additional revenues. Like I mentioned, there's an increase in health insurance. We weren't expecting that one. Over the last 2 years, health insurance has increased by over 200,000. The last 2 years, we've seen a significant increase in the monthly per employee, and the commission continues to provide 100% of that of those benefits to the employees. It's a really good health insurance. Ms. Brown is here. We'll present those later on today. The minimum wage, I think it's something that employees deserve. Making it at $9.50 an hour with the inflation the way it is, I just don't understand how somebody can maintain a family or household like that. The custodian and the mechanic positions, we're hoping that the mechanic could save us some money. We'll find out next year when we're looking at the maintenance and operations, and the 3 officers that are going to continue with the PD. I mean, that was a grant that was granted to us 3 years ago. They paid for the first 3 years of those police officers, and now we have to take a minimum 1 year, keep them in the payroll. But I think we're going to continue keeping them afterwards after that as well.
Thank you for that information, Mr. Cantu. And yes, I totally agree with you, and that's the reason why no cities in the valley adopted that no new tax revenue. Because if you do that, you will hurt the city's growth, and our promise to the community was to keep this community growing. So by us adopting this voter approval, I think is the best decision that the citizens of Rio Grande will deserve. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to explain this to the community, and just because a few wants us to make just decisions that will not help anybody, it's not going to work here with us.
Well, I think it's a responsibility of the commission to maintain a healthy fund balance. Minimum, we should be able to keep at least 4 months of operations in the fund balance, and if we don't adopt a tax rate that's going to allow us to maintain that fund balance, I think we would not be doing a good service to the
4
community.
months of the fund balance, can you explain real quick how many months do we have with the current fund balance right now?
Well, currently, we have more than the 4 months. We have,
How many months do we cover with what we have right now?
we could probably cover a year.
A year? So
No,
three-
not a year, I'm sorry. We could probably cover after this year's budget, maybe 6 months.
6 months.
6 months of
So
operations.
50% more than the requirement.
Yes.
Okay, so saying that means that the city of Rio Grande has healthy fund balance, and the decision that this commission will take will always be for the betterment of the community, right?
That's correct.
Thank you.
What is the specific language that
Yeah,
must be read?
fine.
Let's see.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of the tax rate of 0.521090, which is effectively an 8.52% increase in the tax rate.
It's on page 41,
Section 1. Letter
section
A.
8.
Okay.
In quotes, I move.
Okay, we found the particular language that must be read, and at this time, I'm asking if any of the commissioners have a motion regarding this matter.
This will be a record vote, Mayor.
Correct.
I move motion to approve as presented on the agenda that the new tax rate is 52.
You have to read it.
I move the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of the tax rate by 0.521090, which is effectively an 8.3% increase in the tax rate, and which is adopted by the City Commission as follows.
Mayor Falcon,
Does anybody second the motion?
I second the motion.
Motion has been second. Any further discussion? That's up for vote. Ms. Solis?
Mayor Falcon,
Aye.
Commissioner Odile Barrera,
Aye.
Commissioner Ben de Leon, absent. Commissioner Roger Olivares,
Aye.
Commissioner Odile Barrera.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving to 4B, first reading and approval of ordinance number 2024-06, an ordinance of Rio Grande City, Texas, levying ad valorem taxes for debt service of the municipal government of the city of Rio Grande City, Texas for the 2024-2025 fiscal year in conformity with the charter provisions and ordinances of the city and the property tax code of the state of Texas, providing for apportioning each levy in specific purposes, providing when taxes shall become due and when same shall become delinquent if not paid, providing a repealer, providing for publication, and ordaining other provisions related to the subject matter hereof.
I think this would be part of 4A as well, because it's a total of the tax rate. The INS rate would be 0.148130, again, giving it a total of 0.521090.
Where's the language for that motion?
45.
What was that?
45,
45? Under A?
yes, where the quotes start.
Mayor, I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.521090, which is effectively an 8.53% increase in the tax rate and which is adopted by the City Commission as follows.
I second the motion.
Motion has been second. Any further discussion regarding this matter? Nothing, it's right for vote then.
Mayor
Solis?
Falcon,
Aye.
Commissioner Odile Barrera,
Aye.
Commissioner Ben de Leon, absent. Commissioner Roger Olivares,
Aye.
Commissioner Odile Barrera.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Motion carries. Moving to 4C. First reading and approval of ordinance number 2024-07, an ordinance of the City of Rio Grande City, Texas, adopting the 2024-2025 City of Rio Grande City municipal budget for October 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2025, providing an effective date, providing for publication, providing for a severability clause, and ordaining the other provisions of the subject matter hereof.
Mayor Commissioners, this budget is, as was presented in the previous meeting, there was a presentation done on the budget that remains the same. I just want to add that as it is, the budget is at a deficit of $753,828. That includes $300,000 for the animal kennels, $100,000 for street lighting, $100,000 for library expansion, and $60,000 for street project grant match that we would be taking on. The rest would be operational. $193,000 will be on the operational side. So again, without us not implementing the tax rate that we did, we would be digging deeper into our fund balance.
Right.
We wouldn't, so.
Okay, and so can you go over those expenses again? Because I missed all of
The
them.
last ones, okay, this is a one-time expenditure that the commission wants to add for this coming year. It's $300,000 for the animal kennels,
For the animal control
for the
department,
animal
right?
control department, yes.
Okay,
$100,000 for the expansion of the library,
the current library is going to be expanded so we can
Expanded, that's
provide a
correct.
better service to the community.
correct.
Okay.
$100,000 for street lighting, that's to provide better street lighting for streets across the city.
And that's
six-
for lighting that was going to be replaced, or that's for new lighting?
It's additional lightings for the streets.
Remember, we have some poles in the city that needed light, and we have some streets with no light or no pole, and then we have some that only, that require both.
Okay.
And we're budgeting $60,000 for a match on some street projects. Hopefully, if we get awarded that grant is $750,000, the city is responsible for a match there. That grant probably won't be granted towards the latter part of the fiscal year, so we're matching, right now, we're budgeting for at least the engineering costs for that match.
Yes, sir.
What else?
And that's $560,000 there. The rest is, as I mentioned, is on the health insurance, the new
Correct.
positions added, 3 cops, benefits increased by $55,000 for across the board. Retirement saw an increase as well, so we're seeing an increase in retirement, Social Security with the higher salaries. Our tax collection agency from the school had increased, since they're collecting more taxes, they charge us 6%, so that's gonna increase as well, $70,000 more that we're gonna pay them. Trainings for across the city, mainly for the police department, increased by $93,000. Audit fees, increased by $17,000 because this year, as last year, we're gonna be required to do a single audit, so that's pretty much what they charge. And the rest is just operational increases in day-to-day activities for the state departments.
Yes, sir. Okay. Anything else, sir?
That's it.
Okay. Do we have a motion to consider this item?
There's no special language for this one, right?
It's on the fifth whereas on page 49.
I move that the city commission adopt and approve the budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024 and ending September 30th, 2025 as presented.
Second. Motion has been second. Any further discussion by any of the commissioners?
Thank you for explaining, Commissioner.
Having no further discussion, matter is up for a vote. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving to 4D, first reading and approval of ordinance number 2024-08, an ordinance amending section 16-210 of chapter 16, utilities of the Code of Municipal Ordinances of Rio Grande City, hereby adopting a new schedule for tapping charges, providing an effective date, and providing for publication.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Just in case you have any questions, this is the first reading. This is something I've been working with your attorney, and we've got just on the tapping charge, and the reason behind it is, again, it's up to update it. It's a 19-year-old ordinance from 2005. So we go ahead and went back. I did a little bit of research and stuff. Our ladies at the billing clerk, we're behind. Infrastructure has gone up, labor has gone up, the price of the meters and everything has gone up, and it's really a lot to offset a lot of that cost on the increases.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a motion regarding this item?
I move that we approve this item as presented.
Does anybody second the motion?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions that anybody may have? Having no further discussion, matters up for a vote. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We move to section 5, resolutions A. Discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-29, calling the November 5th, 2024 election. Proposition A, shall section 2.01C of the city charter be amended to provide for term limits of 2 4-year terms for service as mayor, for service as commissioner, or for combined service as both mayor and commissioner. No individual may serve more than 8 years, provided, however, a person who has served a partial term of 2 years or less may serve no more than 10 years. Se amendará la sección 2. Do I have to read in Spanish?
No,
No.
Okay.
you could just say for the record, it's also translated in Spanish for
Okay.
people
To
to appear on the ballot.
Sure. This is as, it's going to appear on the ballot, right?
Yes, sir.
Once it's up for vote. Okay, so there was a section that was going to be translated to Spanish. That's going to be done at the ballot.
There's also a proposition at the end, Mayor, it's in English.
Yes. And then Proposition B, shall Section 7.01 be amended to provide that to the extent permitted by law, city elections shall be administered by a third-party administrator rather than by the city secretary. This is the section where it's going to be amending the city charter, where it's going to essentially not going to allow the commissioners or the mayor to serve for more than 8 years, or unless there's partial term that the person is substituted in or something happened there. But essentially, what this thing is saying is that the commissioners or the mayor can only serve two terms, and number two, so that there's no biases within the city races, that the races are going to be administered by a third party, not necessarily the county. The city will probably hire a company that is going to come over and run the elections, so that politics can be taken away from, as much as it can, from the elections and from the race, and that also that a lot of the employees that work for the city are not antagonized or not pressured to do things, and that we can have a fair election for anybody that participates on any campaign or race that's political nature for this commission. Having read that, do we have a motion to consider this item?
I move motion to approve Resolution 5A as presented on the agenda.
Does anybody second?
I second the motion.
Motion has been second. Any discussion regarding this item by any of the commissioners?
I do have a discussion, Mayor, Commissioners, public, and these, just so you know, community of Rio Grande, this is history being made right now with this resolution. All of us in this community know politics play a huge role in elections. So therefore, the vision of this committee is to avoid that for the future generation of our citizens. The city of Rio Grande will no longer run their own elections, and that way give an opportunity to all those young community members that may have the willingness to fight for the community just the way we did it 2 months ago. For us, to be honest with you, it was a nightmare fighting against the city because of the involvement and the pressure the last commission had on their employees. So therefore, I congratulate all these commission, our attorney, our secretary, for making these huge advancement on the democracy of our community. We will no longer play the politics roles on elections, so therefore, we're gonna have a safer and more pacific way in doing elections. The third party, in my opinion, should be a company from San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Austin, to come and implement the election so that we can have better results with no political gain. So, community of Rio Grande, this is a win for you. This is a win for democracy. And again, Proposition A is that no commissioner will be here more than 8 years. Taking away that power for another dictatorship in our community was our goal, and today it has been approved. So, to be honest with you, I feel so happy, and I think one of my main goals has been made today by having these two resolutions approved. So, to everybody, congratulations.
Thank you.
All I want to say is that I think that this is moving in the right direction. I think that having a limit is going to keep the commissioners and the mayors enthusiastic about trying to make a change, because they're only going to be potentially having 2 terms to make the difference. So I think that's going to promote effectiveness, having an efficient commission, because knowing that you're not going to have all the time in the world, you're not going to be able to run for more than 2 terms. I think that pressures the candidates, that pressures the commission to be effective and efficient as much as they can. So I think that's a good idea. The second thing is obviously running the election by a third party. I think that a lot of the employees are antagonized when there's an election and obviously they're running it. I think that they should not be faced, they should not be pressured in that way, because if the commission changes, obviously they're going to have some fear of retaliation. They're going to believe that something is going to happen to them, and I don't think that a good employee for the city should be antagonized like that. They shouldn't be placed in that position. Having an independent party that's going to run the election is going to avoid all of those issues for the city employees. So I think that's going to benefit the employees, and I think that's going to benefit the candidates on both sides, so that both sides can have a fair shot. If the current commission wants to earn their position for their second term, I think that they must work for it. They got to fight for it, and they got to fight for it fairly, and as well as the other party, so that the other party that's be the newcomer or the challenger, that they can have a fair opportunity to come over, to present their case to the community, and so that they can be heard here at the city, and that their vote can be casted fairly. I think that's a great improvement from this commission. I'm very happy about that, and I think that's going to definitely assist this community's democracy in the right way. Any further discussion, comments? Having no further discussion or comments, the matter is up for a vote.
Was there a motion?
There's a motion and a
Yeah,
second.
okay, there was a
We have to have a,
Section.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then
just
just the vote.
having the motion being second, it's up for a vote now. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. We move to item number 6A, discussion, consideration, possible action to award bid for the department work trucks. This is the bids that have been submitted.
Mayor Commission, the last time we were here, the item was tabled for further review. The options you have at this point, you can award the bid or, once again, table it, but I don't know, Ms. Vaz, would they have to be rebid?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. The bids were received with a 30-day valid period. We did reach out to each of the bidders. We sent them an email and asked them that the commission was reviewing the bids and if they would honor their bid until mid-September. And they all sent an email stating that they did agree that they would hold their bid amount until that time.
Okay. I propose that the commission moves to approve 6A with the lowest bidder. That's my suggestion for the commissioners, and at this time, I'm going to be asking that whether or not there's a motion.
So moved, Mayor.
Does anybody second the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Motion has been seconded, and now for discussion, we go to the bids that were submitted, and I think that for this one, the lowest bid was submitted by Payne Ford. I think, is that, do you have there?
Payne Auto Group, yes, sir.
Payne Auto Group, okay.
Yes.
So a local company was the lowest bid.
628,706.
628,706.
Yes.
Um,
For 13 vehicles.
Those are the work trucks.
No work trucks, right? Yes.
yes. And the motion is to approve for the lowest bidder, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The motion has been seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries, and the bid has been awarded to our local vendor, Payne Auto Group. The second, this item 6B, discussion, consideration, possible action to award bid for the department vehicles. On this one, I would like to suggest to the commissioners that we have an incomplete bid from one of our local vendors, and that is Real Motors.
That's correct.
I would propose that the commission moves to request that the bid be completed, or that there's a new rebidding process so that we can have a complete bid from our local vendor, which is Real Motors. I think they were missing one vehicle, and if by the next round they can come up with a complete bid, I mean, we'll award it to the lowest bidder. But from my point of view, I think that we should try to do the best that we can to try to work with our local vendors, so that we can award the money to our local vendors. As it is right now, I think that if we were to approve it, it would go to a company from Laredo.
And is there a reason why the local vendor, Real Motors in this case, didn't finish the bidding process, Ms. Reyes?
Do they make a passenger van?
I mean, as Commissioner, specifically, they wanted a certain type, brand of vehicle, which they don't provide.
So they're not gonna have it?
They
No,
don't have the
they wanted
Chrysler Plymouth.
some vehicle with like 3 rows of seats, which they can provide a similar vehicle like, I believe a Chevrolet, not an Equinox, the upper one.
Traverse.
Yes. They have similar vehicles, but originally they specifically asked for like a Chrysler, which is on a product they don't provide,
And those specifications came directly from the grant or from the city?
from the city.
From the city, okay.
So the
I
city
get it.
can definitely make slight
Some
adjustments.
Some adjustments so that every local vendor has a shot
Correct.
to the
Yes.
bidding process.
The way that it was prepared, I don't think that they were going to be able to
Yeah.
provide a complete bid with having it.
I would like to do that and give an opportunity for them and make sure that the vehicles that we need have those specifications.
Yeah, they can provide a quote on a similar vehicle, it's just what's going to change is the brand, obviously.
Right.
I move that we table this item
Excuse me.
until our next meeting.
If I may, Mayor and Commissioners, if you want us to rebid the vehicles without specification on the make, model, brand, then we would have to reject this bids so we can move again.
Yeah, I
redo our
recommend we
package.
reject
And is that going to affect the grant that we have?
No, sir, these are paid with the, I believe, ARPA monies.
Not a grant.
Okay, so we're not going to have any issues, that we're not going to lose on anything. It's just going to be a matter of time? Okay.
So I would suggest that they be rejected.
So legal recommends that we reject.
Make a motion to amend to reject the bid and reword
The
and
bid
rebid the package. Rebid the package.
Okay, so the motion is going to be essentially to deny this particular bid, and
Yes, sir.
also within the same motion to
Authorized.
request and authorize the rebidding process with the changed specifications.
Yes.
I move that we reject this bid and amend as needed for future consideration.
Authorize the rebid.
And authorizing the rebidding?
And us authorizing the rebidding. Thank you. I knew I was forgetting.
I second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Matters up for a vote. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we move to item 7A, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding the approval of expenditures and contracts valued less than 50,000 but more than 5,000 that comply with or are exempt from section 252.0215 of the local government code. I have some questions. Well, first of all, do we have a motion to entertain this item?
I move that we approve with discussion.
Is anybody second?
I second.
Okay, matter has been second. I think that the one that I have questions about, and this is to legal, is there's a request from the police department, and I don't think that that's a recurring expense, I think, correct, Mr. Solis?
Yes.
Yeah, it is, eForce, our company, which is our, good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioner.
Good afternoon.
It is our annual payment to eForce, which is our report writing system.
Right.
And our CAD system.
Okay. Nothing new, this is something that has been purchased in the past, and we're not changing subscriptions or anything like that?
No, we've had it since November of 2011.
Thank you. I don't think my issue is with that. My issue is with the Salinas Promotions LLC. And I think this is for an event that was going to be provided within the city at the kiosk. And I think it was for a lucha libre presentation by this company, correct? And this was going to be September?
That's 7B, Mayor.
And
That's
I-
another item.
I'm sorry?
That's another item.
Which one is that? I'm sorry.
The Salinas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can take a vote if there's no other issues on 7A. I'm
Okay,
sorry,
yes.
7B. 7A.
7A, there's no more expenses, correct, ma'am?
Correct.
Just that, okay. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. 7B, discussion, consideration, and possible action to accept contract between the City of Rio Grande City and Salinas Promotions LLC for the event Grito en el Kiosk to be held on Saturday, September 14, 2024, in Rio Grande City, Texas, at Downtown Kiosk, Main Street, and Britton Avenue. Do we have a motion to entertain this, subject to discussion?
Is staff recommending approval?
Yes.
I move that we approve this item, taking into considerations the advice from our legal
Thank you.
as far as for liability and indemnification and insurance.
Does anybody second?
A second.
Motion has been second. This is the one that I wanted to talk to you, Ms. Garcia, about. And I think that the participants that are gonna be there, they're also gonna bring them themselves, or there's gonna be local participants, the ones that are gonna be doing the exhibition?
Mayor, Commission, yes,
Oh.
this is a event that we're planning in the kiosk. This is going to take place Saturday, September 14th. We've worked with this company before on previous events. So basically what they do is they set up the wrestling ring and they bring local artists. He gave me the list of some of the lucha libre professionals that will be at the event. And also included the photographs. We're waiting on the promotion of this event, obviously for the approval of the contract. But they bring the wrestlers in and the ring.
I would like to see a waiver of liability.
They've actually signed we did amend the contract,
Yes.
and they did sign a waiver, including that they would provide insurance, so.
Okay.
They did
Yes.
adopt our recommendation.
So we had Ms. Marty Garcia review the contract. This was a contract received by Salinas Productions. She reviewed the contract, made some revisions. I sent that back to them, and they signed it earlier today, and I went ahead and forwarded over to Mrs. Garcia and to Angela Solis.
Okay, yeah, because I think that the one that we have here is the original contract, right?
Yes, we just received it today, but I did review it, and I do recommend approval.
Yeah, that's the only concern that I have, a full waiver of liability and that they accept. Also by the participants, that if we could get them to sign the waiver before they perform, because given that this is going to be a city-sponsored event, I wouldn't want for anybody to claim that the city has any liability if somebody gets hurt during the exhibition.
If that's provided to us, we can have them sign the day of the event.
That's what I would recommend.
Yes, sir.
Because the company is gonna bring their own people and the company is gonna sign the waiver, but I don't know if the participants are gonna sign a waiver with them, but I would like to see a waiver that's provided by us, by the participants, the actual luchadores that are gonna come in.
I'll draft it, Mayor, and I'll send
It
it.
says that one of the requirements is a tent that must be enclosed for them to come out of, to change or whatever. Do we have such a tent? Sir, do you know?
I believe probably once they got a couple of tents.
We do.
They have.
We do?
They're asking for a dressing room?
Yeah, they need to change. So we've provided them the option in the past to use a museum. It's a close location from the kiosk if they want something indoor with AC. If not, we have a tent and we put the panels
Do
on
they
it.
put mats and things on the kiosk, or they set up a
They're not
ring?
wrestling on the kiosk. They're bringing a wrestling ring.
And they put it in the kiosk?
Not in the kiosk. They'll be placing it on the street.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
when you say kiosk, it's just in the general area?
Yeah.
That's what we
Okay.
call that
Okay.
location. yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got
But
it.
they won't be wrestling on the kiosk. We'll have some performances on the kiosk by some local mariachi and folklorico groups. So there'll be some music. This is just a part of the entertainment.
Are the commissioners required to dress like wrestlers that day?
You are, actually. That's the only way you'll be allowed in.
Just want to let you know that the mayor is definitely not going to dress.
Oh, no.
FYI.
Mil máscaras or whatever it was.
I'll be not.
Anyway, so having considered this item, I propose that we amend the motion so that we can require a waiver from the actual participants that are going to be doing the exhibition. And with that, I think that we should.
I move that we approve this item with a waiver of liability from Salinas Productions.
Okay. Salinas
Second.
Production
Is that the-
and the individual exhibit.
And the wrestlers.
And the wrestlers.
And the wrestlers.
Second? Second. Motion has been second. Any further discussion? Matter is up for a vote. All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We move to 7C, discussion, consideration, possible action to renew services with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas for health, dental, and vision package, life insurance package, and AD&D provided to the city employees. Ms. Brown?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Welcome.
Before you in your packet, you have the memorandum that we prepared with the overview to be able to approve the increase for this year's health insurance for the city.
Yes, ma'am. And this is the increase that Mr. Catu had been making reference to, and it has been part of the budget as well,
Yes.
right?
It is also my understanding that you requested a 90-10 from the representative that was here.
That is correct.
Looking upgrade.
She did give us the information. It's not in the packet because she gave it to us kind of late. The packet had already been submitted, but I will pass over some of my notes, and if you have questions, I can answer.
Okay. And that's already taken into account with this increase?
No.
This is an
This is the option that we're going to be giving the employees in case if they wanted to upgrade, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that is true.
Sorry, figures are
No, no.
not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And it's handwritten, so sorry, but I can answer any questions.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
by taking this action and renewing the contract, those services, that contract is good for how long?
Until September 30th of 2025.
Okay, because we had discussed in the past the possibility of looking for better options. So how would that work, Ms. Garcia?
I believe there's well, the problem is that we don't have, or not a problem, but the issue is we don't have a local agent, correct?
Hasn't been one in a long time.
And so that falls upon you to administer insurance questions and issues that come up. And so what some cities are doing is they're moving toward an agent that's licensed.
Okay.
That is able to answer questions and give advice.
Okay.
And so what we're looking into is maybe opening it up for people to apply to be our registered agent, administer the questions and take it, at that duty, because they are licensed. So my understanding is that we could open it up, get different people to apply, get rates based on what we're currently being serviced and, our employees. And then from there, be ready for the next fiscal cycle, but also there's an open enrollment, is my understanding?
Well, it was my understanding that I had to postpone that. After this, I do need permission to be able to continue with the open enrollment process because everything has to be ready and submitted by October 1st.
Correct.
Now, the deductions that employees pay, like dental and extra health insurance, all of that has to get deducted in September to be able to, when I get the first invoice in October, I already have that. Since we're already cutting it way too close, next payroll would be for September the 6th. So pretty much it's looking like if I'm going to have to double deduct the employee for the last payroll of September to be able to have the invoice paid in full for October 1st.
How soon could you set up for open enrollment? How much notice would you need?
I just need to contact the other vendors that do come in because employees have with other vendors as well. If I can get something going for maybe next week, but we do have a very short week next week. It's all gonna be on what they tell me. I need to get them at least all in the same page to be able to get everything ready by then.
We don't have any work on Monday, right? Maybe set it up for Tuesday? and see what
If
you
I
do.
can, yes.
Okay,
But Wednesday is payroll,
okay, I see.
so I'm already way too past.
So after this enrollment, is there another enrollment period?
No.
Until the
next year.
following?
Until next year.
August and September, August of next year.
Well, one of the things that I would suggest is that we're trying to provide a better service, but at any rate, I don't want for the service to be jeopardized in any way for any of the employees. Just want to make that clear. And also, just to clarify here, for the 9010, the upgrade, he said it was in writing, so it's 2791?
Extra, that would be, if the employee would choose the 2090, they would have to pay the 2791 monthly, which we cut it down for the two payrolls, so it would be 1395 bi-weekly.
That seems like a good deal.
That's a very good deal.
So if some of the employees wanted to get the extra benefit of having the 9010, they would only pay $14
Bi-weekly,
bi-weekly, right?
yes.
$28 a month for them. Okay, all right.
And Mayor, for the record, employees have told me that they love this insurance, you know, and that they're very happy with it. And I know that the feedback that I've gotten also from Valerie is that the employees are very happy with it. So with that in mind, it is my honor to make a motion to approve this insurance for next year.
Yes.
Mr. Olivares, just to clarify, the commission was not looking to change the insurance provider.
Yes, sir.
It's just an agent that can help Ms. Valerie
Noted.
and have better service if it's possible.
No, yeah, absolutely, sir, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to imply that, Mr. Mayor.
Does anybody second?
A second?
Motion has been second. Any further discussion, questions from anybody? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Ms. Brown.
Thank you.
I suggest that for today, that we adjourn and that we skip the executive session because I don't think that there's any matters that we need to address at this time.
Yeah, a couple of personnel matters.
There was one?
Yeah, personnel matters.
Oh, there was one that we need to address?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Moving forward then to item 8, executive session. Do we have a motion at this?
I move that we adjourn to executive session.
All those in favor? Second. Aye. Okay. Thank you. We move to executive session. Executive session, do we have a motion to reconvene?
1:49 PM.
Time being 1:49.
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're moving to item number 9A, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding personnel matters. B, regarding several legal and real estate matters. And C, regarding the acquisition or sale of real property. Do we have a motion on this matter? Do we have an announcement?
There's no action, Mayor, on any of the items, so we can move on to the next one.
Okay. Being no action on this matter, we move forward to item number 10, which is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Second, all of us in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you so much for everything.
It's 1:50.
And the time is 1:50.